Hello and welcome back to Suspended Fanimation. I'm your host, Dennis Bithoulkas, and it's time for WandaVision, Season 1, Episode 7, Breaking the Fourth Wall. Welcome, everybody. Let me take care of some business first, then we'll get into this because, oh, wow, there's a lot of stuff to cover. A lot of stuff to cover. And also, I've got some new theories that I don't think anyone else has come up with at this point in time. But anyway, let me do some commercials here first, then we'll do it. If you like what you see here, like, share, and subscribe. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the video that pops up at the very end here. Basically, what YouTube does takes the algorithm of all the stuff you've been watching and tries to match it as best as possible. One of the videos, my vast video library, and pops it up there just for you, just where Mr. Fantastic is right there. Also, if you want to know when I'm be on live again next, hit the bell down below. It's a 50-50 chance of YouTube actually notifying you. Best thing to do is go to suspendedfanimation.com. Take a look at the schedule I have up there. I change it out every week. Also, I have all the links to my social media, Twitter, Instagram, Patreon. No tiers ever on the Patreon. Waiting until I hit 1,000 subscribers, which I'm getting close. And once that happens, when you guys give me money, I can give you something in return. And also have the links to my YouTube channel here, my Facebook page, and a Facebook group page where you guys can post stuff and chat amongst yourselves. For those of you who still have YouTube, or excuse me, Facebook, YouTube, Facebook, it's all owned by the same companies now, anyway. All right, let's get to it, shall we? Spoiler alert: if you have not seen the episode, go and watch it. Come on back. This will be a video. You can comment down below in the comment section. All right. We got it. We got that there's spoilers involved, right? There's a lot of spoilers and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of spoilers involved. All right. Yes. Okay. Oh, wow. So yeah. So where do I start on all this? Yes, Agatha Harkness. Agnes is Agatha Harkness. That whole red herring that happened last episode was just that, a red herring. And yes, she's been controlling this all along. Why, you may ask? Well, this all boils down to Senor Scratchy. And I'll get to all of that in a minute. Let's just cover some of the stuff that happened in the episode, shall we? Monica has got superpowers now. She has become Spectrum. So yeah, when she went through the field again, the shield, excuse me, she changed and was able to actually stop Wanda. When Wanda picked her up, she was actually to break Wanda's hold and drop to the ground. She's not empty on the inside, Mephisto. That was her first time through, and she was changing. So the cosmic radiation that that field emits is changing people, and it's not really changing them right by rewriting their DNA. It's activating the DNA that they already have, i.e., mutants. So I'm thinking what one of the things that's going to happen here when the field goes down, that cosmic radiation is going to shoot across the earth, and it's going to activate a lot of dormant X genes, shall we say, and that's where you're going to get mutants from, is from Wanda's event here. And Wanda is being controlled, of course, by Agnes or Agatha, essentially to make her power grow is what's going on here. Also, Hayward was trying to use Vision as a weapon. He was essentially trying to reactivate his body. And this is the reason why Vision can't remember anything, because his mind has been emptied. His mind most likely is someplace else, being stored someplace else. And that's the reason why he doesn't remember anything from before, is because he is the empty shell, is where you're at there. So, yeah. Mephisto says, I was talking about Agatha. Wanda's kid said she was. Oh, yes. So Agatha, yes. When Tommy, I think it was, said that Agatha was empty on the inside. Yeah. There's also another reason for that. He can't read her, is what's going on. So she's also a witch. And yeah. Let's get to it on this part. When we go down into Agatha's lair and we see the book, and by the way, the book is not the Darkhold. Everyone online keeps saying, oh, it's the Darkhold, it's the Darkhold, it's the Darkhold. No, it's not the Darkhold. What this is one of the books of the ironbound books of shuma-gorath is what this is. Now you're going to say, what the fuck is shuma-gorath? This is a very deep dive that Fahey is doing here. Fahey, of course, is a Marvel Comics fan. And so one of the things that we saw also was a fly on the curtain, and that close up on the fly, that is actually an homage to Mephisto's first comic book appearance in Doctor Strange. He showed up as a fly, which is the master of flies, I guess you could say, or Lord of the Flies, however you want to do it, which is the devil. So that is Mephisto. So yes, we know Mephisto is involved here too. The ironbound books of excuse me, of shuma-gorath. Shuma-gorath is one of the great old ones, kind of like the ancient ones in a way. And he's been banished, of course, to another realm. Now, if you go back to the Doctor Strange movie, the ancient one, which I was actually just rewatching, the ancient one says, and when she's describing spells being made, we harness energy drawn from other dimensions of the multiverse to cast spells, to conjure shields, and weapons to make magic. A direct quote. So essentially, what's going on here is Agatha is ramping up Wanda to make her angry, to make her use her powers, and acting like a battery, so that Mephisto, which is on the other side in this dimension, or the mirror dimension, which is used to contain threats, can build up enough power to get out of the mirror universe. This was the whole thing that happened in Doctor Strange. And why is she doing this? Well, Senior Scratchy is really Nicholas Scratch, her son. And he's also a sorcerer as well. And my guess is that Mephisto, in exchange for releasing Mephisto, he is going to help her get her son back to human form. Now, Mephisto, in the comics anyway, actually works for shuma-gorath, who, of course, is one of the ancient ones, who basically feeds off the multiverse. Again, I'm going deep into this one. And he is actually going to be the big bad. Shuma-gorath is the ancient one, is going to be the big bad. Mephisto is going to be the introduction into this, kind of like Loki was with Thanos. And Mephisto is really going to be working for shuma-gorath at this point. And yes, it's exactly like Lovecraft sculpted leather art by Viking Bitch. I just going to say Viking Bitch, because it's actually written by Robert E. Howard. Shuma-gorath is actually created by Robert E. Howard and was used by Marvel. The three ironbound books of shuma-gorath are actually created by Crom. Does Crom sound familiar? Crom is actually the ancient god from Conan. And of course, Conan was a Marvel comic property as well. And yeah, 21,000 years before the fall of Atlantis, these books were actually used to trap shuma-gorath. Yeah. So there you have it in a nutshell. This is the whole setup of everything that's going on right now. And we still have not met the astrophysicist engineer either, who at first I thought was Reed Richards, this guy here. Then I started thinking maybe it was Fitz from Agents of S.w.o.r.d, which isn't a bad, idea. And one of the prevailing theories right now is that it's Adam Brashear, who hasn't shown up yet, who in the comics is called the Blue Marvel. And he ends up, of course, he and Monica end up dating at one point. But the biggest thing about this is that Spectrum, Blue Marvel, and Doctor Strange fought Mephisto in the comics during Infinity, which happens after the Infinity War, to send Mephisto back to his realm. So everything ties together here since we know that Doctor Strange is showing up. There we go. So that is my theory in a nutshell. There's a lot of shit to unpack there, like I said, and I had to get that all out as much as possible. But yeah, so this is the reason why Agatha dotes on children, and she's always looking after the children, always looking after Wanda's children. And what happened to Wanda's children, we do not know. If you follow the House of M, Mephisto had actually absorbed Wanda's children for power, and Agatha helped Wanda forget about her children, which was what brought about the House of M in the comics. Now, if this is going to be the same here, maybe Wanda's children were a manifestation of her power and actually were filled with power, and Mephisto has absorbed her children once again, which is going to piss her off even further and drive her power level up to 11 at this point. Yeah. So if that's the case, episodes 8 and 9, which are our last two episodes here, are going to be huge. They're going to be big. And yeah. Yeah, no one likes 11 exactly. Because it goes to 11. The Order of the Triad, possibly the Order of the Triad. But we can find out later. Mork says, I don't think Agatha is bad. I think, like the show is from Wanda's point of view, she may think she's evil from the start. We always get Hayward to be the baddie. Hayward was the catalyst of all of this. Agatha, I think, used it as an opportunity to release her son. So also, Nicholas Scratch is a follower of the Great Old Ones. So he is actually a servant of them. He always works with Mephisto, which also ties into all of this as well. There you go. And hello, Feisty. Pietro was brought in. So there's a theory out there that Pietro was actually brought in by Doctor Strange to help Wanda. But you see that Agnes or Agatha brought him in to basically antagonize Wanda to make her more agitated to use her powers to expand the wall. As you saw, she got pissed off at Pietro, and it was if you take a look at the recap shows you the most pivotal things of what's going to happen in this, or what happened previously. And in the last episode, Pietro mentioned, him, Vision dying twice. It's like, it's not like he's going to die again, kind of thing. And she hits him with a bunch of power and like gets pissed off at him and shoots him back. And just after that is when she freezes everyone and expands the wall out. She starts going for it on the wall. So the angrier that she gets, kind of like the Hulk, the more powerful she's getting. And she's also working through her grief at this point too. So we saw at the beginning of this episode her going through the final stage of grief, which is acceptance. And also, that I think she's near the end of getting drained of all her power. That's why her power was flitting out and things were around her were actually reverting back and we're not following her orders, is because she's getting drained of power, like we saw in the previous episode, the commercial, the shark saying, I'm snacking on your magic. That's how I've been surviving. She's a battery. And the commercial for this episode, by the way, I loved it. The whole Nexus thing. In the comics, Wanda is a Nexus point for the multiverse. She is a living Nexus. And they also mention the multiverse as well in this commercial, and how they were very, very not subtle about any of that, saying you choose what reality you want to be in, kind of thing. And yeah, so we are having the multiverse come into this. We are having Nexus. And like I said, shuma-gorath feeds on the multiverse at this point. So yeah, it's gonna be a big, 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 big thing. Movie Finobi says, so if the commercials line up with the Infinity Stones, I assume this is the Reality Stone. but there are 2 more episodes, and it would be no, they're just clues as to what's going on. So that's all it is. Yeah. And Nexus is a subsidiary of Spacebonium. Yeah, it is. So yeah, I got that all out there. Oh my god. And I just want to say Darcy, getting woken up by Vision in inside the anomaly, I guess you could say, was pretty damn funny. Yeah. I do have to say though, I don't know about anybody else, but watching Monica get her powers when she's walking through the barrier and she's reliving, everything that, she's getting the voiceover of all the stuff that's happened to her as both a child and as an adult. And you even get a little bit of Captain Marvel in there as well, who says, your mom's got a strong kid in you, kind of thing. Is that was Brie Larson, by the way, at the end there. And she finally pops out and, as having the powers spectrum. I don't know about you, but I got chills. I got goosebumps on that one. That actually made me happy on this. Yes, Mufinobi, I did laugh at that line too. She goes, "Okay, I'll go out with you, but I just want to know I'm ordering the lobster." uh, Raymond K. Hessel. So, what was the Morse code you mentioned earlier? Oh, that was a joke, Raymond. There was so many far out theories that were going on that I made one up that Agnes is actually in all the episodes. Her blinking is actually in Morse code, and that's actually she's telling you exactly what's happening with her blinking. So yeah. Yeah, Darcy as the escape artist. I want to know why Wanda had that as well, or why did Agnes put her as the escape artist? You know? And I did like the whole reference that Darcy made. She goes, "Well, I'm kind of a STEM girl myself," which means that she really was not a science major to begin with. She was a God. What did Foster say that she was when they started? She was a poli sci major or a drama major. She basically was there just to get paid as an intern. Is all she was. That's why she was helping Jane Foster in the initial Thor movie, and she ends up getting a PhD and becoming a doctor of astrophysics. You know, uh, that was that's just actually pretty fucking funny. What are Photons powers? Basically, energy manipulation. So Spectrum can actually, all across the electromagnetic spectrum, she can use electromagnetic fields. She can turn them into lasers, of course. Hard photons, light, all that kind of stuff. She can fly. Yeah. So pretty powerful, actually, because she can take down, with a little bit of help, Mephisto as well. So will this tie into Mighty Thor as well? Possibly, Raymond. I don't know for sure. It most likely it will, because I think we're gonna get cosmic stuff going on as well. It's gonna cross the universe essentially. It's gonna cross the multiverse at this point. This ties into the movies really, really well. Like I said, I'm rewatching Doctor Strange, and there is so much. It makes so much better. It's such a better movie now with WandaVision. It really is, because you're seeing everything tie in. I mean, who knew? I mean, I thought Doctor Strange was an okay movie. I didn't think it was one of the best Marvel movies. It was an okay Marvel movie. But now with WandaVision and everything tying in, it makes a ton more sense. And it actually, you can see where things are going now because of this. And it's actually a really fucking good movie. Yeah, I would always suggest people go back and rewatch that. Mork says, Dennis, do you think that basement is where Agatha would train Wanda? Possibly. I think that is where so in the comics, Her and Nicholas actually lived in Colorado, in I believe it was New Salem, Colorado, and they had a kind of a almost like a coven in a way is what it was. And I believe that's what this is in New Jersey. In Westview, New Jersey is where she's been living. And I think that's where S.w.o.r.d was, right? Was just outside of New Jersey there. And that's why, yeah, it kind of became fortuitous that Wanda found out about where Vision's body was, and Agatha felt the magic and decided to use that in order to get Mephisto out of his prison to help her son. Yeah. And on top of this, Agatha Harkness in the comics and Nick Scratch are both attached to these guys, the Fantastic Four. So maybe we might get a little bit of that coming in as well. Yeah. Raymond says, I'm still lost on Jimmy's missing person. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Jimmy's missing person either. And I want to say maybe it's Ralph who, Agnes keeps mentioning, Agatha, Agnes. I never know what to call her now. It's Agatha or Agnes. But I think it might be Dottie, because Dottie reappeared in this episode. Also, I don't know if anyone stayed mid-credit. There's a mid-credit stinger where Monica is she finds Agatha's underground lair, the cellar, and just as she opens up the door and sees the purple vines and all that stuff going down there, who shows up but Pietro right next to her and says, Snooper's gonna snoop. Oh yeah. So there's a lot of shit that's going on there. She was Reed's nanny. Yes, she was the nanny for Franklin Richards, Sue and Reed's son. Yeah. Was that the first mid credits? Yes, it was. Sula Klaus. I'm sorry. I'm gonna murder your name. Sulak Kalas. Sulakalas. Okay, there we go. Sulakalas. Is that right? Did I pronounce that right? But yes, that was the first mid-credit scenes that we've seen. I watch every episode to the very end of the credits. Yeah. How did you come up with that name, Sulakalis? Is it kind of like from Galactus? Is that what you get that from, or? Because that's pretty funny. I dig it. It's a good name. Wow. So just a lot of stuff going on here. And yeah, I don't know. It's my last name forward and backwards. Oh, wow. Okay. Got it. Neat. Raymond says, was the I bit a kid once a throwaway joke? Is there something to it? I want to say it might be a little pun for witches, witches eating children kind of thing. I think it was just kind of a joke where she goes, I bit a kid once. I did like also the line, and I killed Sparky too. And she starts cackling. That was funny. That was just actually funny. But yeah, I think the whole I bit a kid once was in reference to witches eating children, the old stories kind of thing. Just kind of a joke, throwaway thing. Yeah. Sorry, my dog's doing something weird over there. I think she's biting her nails, which is odd. But yeah. Oh my god. So yeah, just that was a lot to unpack there, but Mark says, and the dog might as well have been a reference to witches as they're usually with cats. Yeah. They could sometime, I don't know. Yes, Dante, yes, they did throw us off last week with her. And they even did the reference when they were going back and showing Agatha everything that she's manipulating when she's in the car and she's like looking at everyone going, nah, 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 when Vision is, talking to her and through the car window. I thought that was pretty funny. Yeah. Yes, witches have the devil's mark, is what they have. Raymond K. Hessel. That's what they're supposed to be marked by the devil, or in this case, Mephisto. Ah, yeah. And so the reason why I don't think Agents of Shield is going to play into this is Kevin Feige really, really, really fucking hates Ike Perlmutter. And Perlmutter's dude was Jeff Loeb, and Jeff Loeb was the one that ran Agents of Shield into the ground, um, as well as the rest of the Marvel TV stuff, and that's why he got rid of them. And I'm fairly sure he will not use any of those people. I'm like 90% sure. Yeah. Dante says, I like how the show doesn't take itself too seriously. It doesn't, and it does, Dante, because this is probably the deepest dive. I was actually just talking about this with Feisty earlier, that this show does not hold hands for anybody whatsoever, not even for the comic book nerds. I had to do some research in order to dig on that one about the shuma-gorath, because that book, I was looking at that book and I was like, the Darkhold usually has a D on it or the name spelled out on it or something like that. The Darkhold has been in Marvel Comics ad infinitum. It's also showed up on Marvel TV quite a bit. It's been in Agents of Shield, it's been in Runaways, and it's been in one other show as well. I can't remember which one it is. Agents of Shield again in a dream kind of thing. So the Darkhold has been around in Marvel TV, recent Marvel TV as well. But like I said, I don't think Fahey's going for that. I think he's going for the deep dive, and the Ironbound books of shuma-gorath is that's a deep fucking dive right there. Also, the character is as well, and it ties in with Mephisto, and it also ties in with the whole Doctor Strange stuff as well. Just having magic involved, and the use of magic, and how magic is drawn from other dimensions. Even the ancient one in the Doctor Strange movie, she was the way she was having her immortality was she was drawing power from the dark dimension. She was drawing her power from Dormammu in order to be immortal. That's how she was living for 1,000+ years. Was drawing energy from a different dimension, which is what Mephisto is doing off of Wanda. Yeah. Mork says, speaking of the Darkhold, if Agatha were bad, having her have that book would be Armageddon. Yes, exactly. Unless she wasn't powerful enough to use it either. Sulakalus says, hey, if the Iron books are getting pulled in, let's get Conan in the MCU. I would love that as well. That was my first thought. And the first thing I Googled was who owns the movie rights to Conan. And it's some really weird publishing company or something like that. So I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're just going to go off on their own, because the Ironbound books of shuma-gorath now have a Marvel presence, a Marvel Comics presence without Conan, but they did arrive because of Conan and Robert E. Howard initially, because they're actually in the books of it's in Conan and it's also in Kull as well. Yeah. So yes, they've been around since the 1930s. And yeah, you can't see them, but up above me here, there's a whole rack of Conan stuff. There's another shelf right up here. So, and King Kull is up there as well. So yes, I am versed in Robert E. Howard lore. And Robert E. Howard was also friends of, I should say, pen pals with Lovecraft, H.P. Lovecraft. They used to write each other. Make of that what you will. But yeah, they used to write each other profusely. So going back to your comment, Viking Bitch, about it was very Lovecraftian, that's the reason why. It sounded Lovecraftian. There's a long drawn about way of doing that, but yeah. Sulakalus says, wow, I didn't know that. Awesome. Thanks. Yeah, no problem. Like I said, fount of useless knowledge. Your pen pals with Fanobi. What pen did you guys serve in together? Oh, wait, you mean? Oh, never mind. And with that note, oh man, so yeah, I can't wait for next week's episode. Again, this was a half-hour long episode, but it packed a lot in there. I'm waiting to see. I know that I think the next two episodes is supposed to be an hour long each one, which would make sense because there's a lot that they've got to go through. And I don't know how they're going to do it, really. So my dog just gave me the weirdest fucking look, man. It was just funny. I gotta say this too, man. I have been avoiding social media like the plague on Friday mornings because I don't stay up until midnight to watch the show. I would, but it's a work day. It's a school night for me, so I do not do that. I wait until the next day and I watch it then. But fuck, man, I just can't. Yeah, uh, the spoilers, man. You guys out there, you need to cool it on the spoilers, especially on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. And you guys know who you are out there. Yeah, it's just not cool. It really isn't. A lot of us don't get the chance to watch it, and we're not staying at home all the time. And some of us actually do have to go into work, kind of thing. So Mork says they'd better. There are too many plot gaps right now. I don't know if there's a lot of plot gaps. There's just a lot of loose threads out there, Morks, that they can pull on for other shows. So this is going to lead into Falcon and Winter Soldier, which we're going to have the introduction of Patriot into that one. So we have the introduction of Spectrum and possibly Blue Marvel into this series. We're getting out of Falcon and Winter Soldier, we're getting Patriot. Out of Hawkeye, we're going to get Kate Bishop. Yes, the Young Avengers. Yeah. And then Loki. Oh, we don't know what we're getting. Possibly Hulkling. I don't know. And then, of course, She-Hulk. We don't know what we're going to get out of that either. But that's not until next year, sometime with She-Hulk. And yes, Doctor Strange. Well, Doctor Strange is going to come in at the end of this series, WandaVision. We already know he's coming in. That rumor was released a long time ago, and we already know that's going to be happening. There's just too many things. Speaking of which, if you look at the end credits of this episode, when you see the pixelized shapes and all that stuff, there's a butterfly. There's actually a huge butterfly in this episode, which is every time there's a butterfly, it's supposed to signify Doctor Strange. When Doctor Strange is kicked into his astral body by the Ancient One, when she's explaining that he doesn't know shit about the universe and he's getting thrown around all over the place. At one point, he's high above the earth and he stops for a minute and there's a butterfly there. And he reaches out to touch the butterfly and he gets sucked back down to earth real fast. Did I cover the new Falcon trailer? I believe I mentioned it during one of the Saturday morning blast-offs, Raymond. I think that's what I did, but yeah, I just kind of mentioned it, I believe, more than anything else. So there you have it. We got Spectrum. We got a new hero out of all of this. Agatha Harkness, we know now, is the person who has been controlling all of this. One of the people that's controlling all of this. We most likely have Mephisto in here because of the fly on the wall that they did a close-up of. Hayward is an idiot and a bad guy. He's trying to erase his mistake by taking out Westview by weaponizing Vision's body, I should say. What else do we have here? We have the Iron Books, or one of the Ironbound books of shuma-gorath. Shuma-gorath. I always have to look at the name because it's just, it's not rolling off the tongue there. And Senior Scratchy is actually Agatha Harkness's son. Anything else I'm missing off of that? Let me know. Yes, Feisty, it is cool about the butterflies. So yeah, I happened to see it and I was like, hey, that's a butterfly. Because someone had brought it up in one of the other theories that I've read about the butterflies and Doctor Strange. And yeah. Shuma-gorath? No. Here, I'll actually type it out in the chat here because it's a mouthful. Shuma-gorath. There you go. With a little hyphen too. He's hyphenated, or it's hyphenated. Because there was a marriage that happened and then there was a divorce. And since it went to go live with its other parent and decided to use both names, it became shuma-gorath. Well, that's another story altogether. It was an ugly custody battle. And this happened before the beginning of time. Yeah. Oh, man. Like I said, this was a big one. This was a big one. So, sorry. Great. I think I swallowed part of my beard there. So Quicksilver isn't real, no multiverse reference. Yes, Raymond, I believe that Quicksilver isn't real. There's been a couple of things. So Wanda even says he isn't who you think he is what she says to the kids about your uncle. Your uncle isn't who you think he is. Isn't the person you think he is what she said. Also, one of the Funko Pops for this show that's supposed to be coming out has Pietro Maximoff in quotation marks. So he's not real. And yeah, there's been a lot of allusions to that he is not a real person. Yeah. Sulakalus says, I read that the butterflies are a reference to a dream from Chinese philosopher Zhang Zhao, and that butterflies are representative of change and maturation. Yes. Yes, they are. Good on you, man. You actually, that's a good one. I actually read that one too, but I kind of left it out. I already figured I've blown enough minds now at this point that adding more stuff to it, I'm trying to, not go there on that one. Nice. Yes. All right. So I'm going to let you guys go for the night. Thank you to everybody who joined me tonight in the chat. And thank you if you made it this far in the video. Hopefully it wasn't too rambly for you. And hopefully you got a lot out of it. Leave some stuff down in the comments if you got some, your own theories, and let me know what you think. Also, what else do I have coming up this week? Tomorrow is going to be another episode of Saturday Morning Blast Off, where I take the genre news of the week and any other genre stuff you guys want to talk about. We talk about it. Sunday and Monday, I'm going to be off. Tuesday will be another episode of Is It Worth My Time? And it's going to be Genlock, which is on HBO Max right now. Wednesday, I'll be off. And Thursday will be Resident Alien. Friday will be a new episode of WandaVision. So, yeah, man. Raymond says, I thought I had to do with fractal geometry they use as a reference to chaos theory. Yes, that also has to do with it too, Raymond. It's science. Again, go back and watch Doctor Strange, and they talk about science and magic almost interchangeably. And also, they talk about it being pieces of magic, that science is not the whole picture of it, that people have, they have graspings of little portions of magic, but they don't have the whole picture of it. And science is one of those. And I love that kind of thing where they're talking about that. Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you, everybody who joined me today in the chat. And again, if you're still on the fence about joining up, take a look at the video that pops at the very end here. And if you like what you see here, hit that subscribe button down below. And if you can, hit that like and the share button as well. And if you want to know when I'm be on live again next, hit that bell down below. It's a 50-50 chance of YouTube actually notifying you. Best thing to do is to take a look at suspendedfanimation.com. Take a look at the schedule I have up there and all the links to my social media and pages as well. And welcome, Sukalakas. Yes, first time here. I liked and subscribed. Thank you, man, or woman. I don't know who you are. Thank you, person. uh, very cool of you, and I hope you come on back. Come on tomorrow if you're going to be around on Saturdays. Saturday morning blast off is pretty much a free for all on genre stuff. I do have some news and stuff that I talk about, but mostly it's open. We talk about a lot of sci-fi, fantasy, horror, all that kind of stuff, and it's fun. Sometimes it can be boring, but sometimes it can be fun. Depends on how you look at it and how awake I am, and if I'm on time, which normally I'm not. I'm surprised someone hasn't mentioned me changing the time on that one again, because I'm usually late on Saturdays. Sorry, it happens. Little dog, yeah. I have a little dog that's very demanding, and I have to tend to her needs first, and yeah, so it happens. All right, everybody. Thank you. I will see you again tomorrow. Until then, don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, you may realize that you're just being used as a battery for an extra dimensional demon trying to escape its dimension that's been trapped in, only so he can get his boss out so they can actually drain the multiverse of all its energy and grow even more powerful, which isn't a good thing. Thanks, everybody. I will see you again tomorrow. Until then, stay safe, be well, take care, and have a good night. Thanks, everyone. Have a good night.